Have you been wondering how to breed and train Pokemon for your own competitive team, but don't know where or how to start? Then this is the set of videos for you. Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Anxew, and today we'll be discussing how you can start breeding a competitively viable Pokemon that you can use for your teams. These guides that I'm making are designed for someone new to competitive battling, or someone who has played Pokemon but want to learn more about the in-depth mechanics of the game. So today we're going to go through the prep work first, so that you get an idea of all the items and the different steps that you need to go through in order to start breeding and making this process as seamless as possible. So to illustrate this process, we're going to use our little Grookey here, our hidden ability Grookey, that we got from the Pokemon Home distribution event, which, if you did not know, was announced alongside other Pokemon Isle of Armor information. But without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing you're going to need when going through this process is, well, your parent Pokemon. So I've got a few things bred in here because actually currently I am going through and breeding my Sobble, who is also hidden ability. So you need your parents, and that's a very important part because, well, that's what you're starting out with. So their parent could be whatever Pokemon. It has to be the Pokemon that you're trying to breed, and you can either breed it with a Pokemon in the similar egg group, or you can breed it with a Ditto. Now, the more IVs the Ditto has, the better, because it makes less switching for you during the process. But again, I'm going to be going over that shortly. The other things you need are the items. So the two most fundamental items when it comes to breeding are the Everstone and the Destiny Knot. So the Everstone allows you to keep the nature of the Pokemon that you are trying to breed. Very important, because for competitive Pokemon, you want the right nature to be passed down every time. And the Everstone its functionality has changed throughout the generations. I'm pretty sure in Generation 4 it passed it down 50% of the time, and then eventually it started going to 100% of the time. Very fundamental item when it comes to breeding, because you want to make sure you get the right nature every time. And the Destiny Knot allows you to pass down 5 random IVs from the other parent. So usually you're going to give your Pokemon that you want to breed the Everstone, and usually Ditto or something, or whatever the other parent is, you want to give them the Destiny Knot. So let's see what else we need. Usually if you want to get egg moves on your Pokemon, this is a good time in the breeding process to kind of get that ready, because once you start breeding and get IVs on it, it's very tedious to go and backtrack to get the egg move on. So a good example of this, to illustrate it, I was breeding a Pharaoh Seed, and eventually after I got all the IVs on it and everything, and this was Generation 7, so this mechanic is different for Generation 8. But, so I forgot to put Leech Seed on it. So I had to backtrack, and then I went from a perfect, competitively viable Pharaoh Seed to one that had 2 IVs because I had to backtrack, and then I had to start breeding it again until I got it to the same place where it was. Again, egg moves function differently in this game and how to pass them down, and I'm going to be covering that in a separate video because that deserves commentary of its own. Finally, again, on the screen that I've got illustrated here, I've got my Chandelure in the front of my party, and it has Flame Body. Now, Flame Body, in case if you didn't know, it cuts the amount of time required on an egg to hatch. So it makes the eggs hatch so much faster. And of course, there is another item called the Oval Charm. I don't actually have it right now, but there is another item. It's similar to the... you get it in the same place as you get the Catching Charm and the Shiny Charm. I just haven't got it yet. But that also cuts down the egg time a little bit. I'm not sure the amount, so I'm not going to say anything. I know it just cuts down the time a little bit. So once you get all those different pieces together, we can actually start the breeding process. So again, if I was to pick up our starter Grookey, and let's just pick a Ditto, and you want to keep, let's just say you want to keep the Adamant Nature on it, and again, you know which nature benefits the Pokemon, because in red it shows the stat that nature boosts, and the blue stat is the one that's going to be lowered. So it's Adamant Nature, so it has increased attack and lower special attack. So I'm going to give this Grookey our Everstone. I'll have to look for it. And where is it? There it is. So again, I'm gonna, before we start, I should probably show you where to get these two items, and I will do that in just a moment once I get them attached here. So now we've given our Ditto the Destiny Knot, and we've given Grookey our Everstone. So again, before we start breeding, I'm going to show you where to get these two items. So the Everstone you're going to get in-game in Turffield. And then the other place that you would get it is the Digger Bros. There's a very small chance that they will give you multiple. That's why I have 8 instead of just 1. So you would get your Everstone in this area right here. So that's where you would get your first Everstone. And your Destiny Knot, you would go to Hammerlock. And inside of the Pokemon Center, there is the Battle Point lady. And she's just in the corner. And you go and talk to her, and she will have it in her inventory for just 10 battle points. So it's very much affordable. I can get 2 more right now if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I have 1, and that's fine for now. So let's go back to our little area here. And when you're breeding, it's very important to remember when you are breeding, and say you want to pass down an egg move or something, then chances are you would want like a female of whatever Pokemon you're breeding. So if I wanted a Grookey with knockoff, I would have to breed it with something else first in order to get it, because you can't breed with something else that's a female and then with a male Grookey, because then you'll get, well, they did change the breeding mechanics in this game, so I mean, you technically could, but you wouldn't get a new Grookey with the move. You would get the male Grookey that you bred it with would have it. That's the change for the egg move mechanic in Generation 8, and again, I will explain all of this in a separate video. But to start, we now have our Grookey and our Ditto with the Everstone and Destiny Knot, and we're gonna go put them in the nursery now. So got our Grookey in there. Yes. So the process that you want to follow here is, from earlier, if you noticed, my Grookey only had 2 stats that had best on it. So the process is, the more IVs that are passed down from one of your parents to the other, you switch out that Pokemon. So if I had a Grookey with 2 perfect stats, if I hatch one that has 3, I want to switch the one with 3 with the one that has 2. Because then that means you're going to have a greater chance that the next one you hatch after will have those 3 stats along with a 4th. So, and you keep doing that until you get a Pokemon with 5 perfect stats. So, that is, once I'm done hatching here, I'll explain that. And you would keep following that process. So again, I want to check these stats after for the Sobbles that I bred. So that one has 1 stat that has best. So I'm not going to be using that one. I'm going to just release that one. This one actually has the stat distribution that I want, because I'm trying to breed a Sobble that has the no good attack stat. And this is very important for a special attacking Sobble. But again, I'm going to put that to the side. And ultimately, when you're breeding, you want to keep switching until you have a parent with 5 IVs. That's this Grookey here that I hatched. So this one has 5 perfect stats, which I've marked. So it has a perfect stat in HP, attack, defense, special defense, and speed. It's adamant nature, and it has the hidden ability. And I don't have an egg move on it, because I'm not sure what egg move I would want to put on it, or if I even want an egg move on it. So, again, this is the process that you would use in order to breed a competitively viable Pokemon. So if you want to learn more about IVs, a bit more in depth than what I've talked about here, and learn about EV training, I'm going to be coming out with those 2 videos soon. This is my first video, so again, thank you for taking the time to watch my video today. Stay tuned and keep learning.